Guys, this is Blank Boy, and today I'm going to talk about why online typology communities are so carcinogenic. Um, hey, it's been a while. Maybe I'll start making videos again. That would be cool. Yeah, so onto the topic. Yeah, first off, I'm definitely not saying that this happens 100% of the time, that they all are cancer. And yeah, anyone watching this thinking that I'm talking about a server that you and I are in together, I'm not talking about any currently existing ones. I'm only like in my thoughts on this, I'm just thinking about servers that have dissolved at this point in time, at the time that I am making this video. All right, so I think there's a certain clashing of two forces that happens in online typology, and that's what makes them so toxic. So there's like everyone's desire to be correct, right? Everyone wants to be correct. No one's trying to be wrong unless there's something I don't know about you. Everyone wants to be right. Everyone wants to be, internally consistent in their thinking. And at the same time, a lot of people identify with a type that they believe they are. That's not a problem when people are just like very casual and they're just like, oh yeah, whatever, I'm this type, I guess. I took a test on the internet. I took Saccharnova or Sarcanova, what's that one called, whatever. And yeah, I guess this is my result, whatever. But when people get really die hard about it, then it is their identity, not entirely, unless some people, maybe it is, but it's a big piece of one's identity sometimes, right? Because what we're talking about is that deep, I guess. It is getting into what's really going on cognitively in your head. And so the way that these forces clash in a typology community in, say, a way that they would not in like a spoken word poetry writing group, right? Let's say that you're in an online spoken word group. People maybe are criticizing each other, right? There's still these two forces clashing, or no, I mean it's two different forces clashing, right? It's everyone wanting to be good, right? You want your product to be good. You want to write good poetry, and right, you're critiquing other people's work. You're criticizing them, hopefully constructively, and in that space, this clash, like, yeah, sure, I'm sure some people take some criticism and cry about it, but by and large, when you get criticism about a piece of writing that you wrote, well, it's modifiable. You can go back and rework it. You can change it, and it is not fundamentally who you are, or a fundamental piece of who you are, right? Like, you wrote it. There's some correlation between who you are and what you wrote, but yeah, you can just rework it. You can workshop it, and then continue on, right? And that's fine. You can write a completely new piece, whatever. And so it's not really a clash of wanting to be good and who you are. It's just, okay, this was the product I made this time. Yeah, I could do it better, but this time this is what I wrote. Excuse me. So really what happens in online typology is that there are at least two people who, like, okay, so something that happens a lot is that because what we're talking about is so intangible, and there's not a widely accepted objective metric, like in a given server, I'm thinking about like Discord servers, in a given server, there's at least 2 people who think that like they've got it figured out. Oh, I know why this person is a TJ and not a TP, and it's because this and this and this and this. And then someone else is like, no, 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 it's the other way around. And it's intangible enough that they can just argue about it with their words, and then they do. And if it was just 2 people trying to be correct, that would be one thing, right? Just trying to be correct and argument and argue, right? That's okay, sure, that's fine. But when what they are arguing about is a person's identity, right? They're both arguing about someone's type, and maybe that person is one of the arguers, and they're just like, no, I am definitely my type, and this is why, and it's led me to believe this and this and this about myself, and da 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 da. When someone like questions the foundation of what someone thinks about themselves, that's really where things get just toxic as hell. And this is just something that is, as far as I know, unique about online typology communities. I don't know where else people argue about someone's identity, because right, in any other space where there's like identity assertion going on, or identity discovery going on, no one's like when else are you trying to compete, you know, with their identity, with your wanting to be correct that hard? I don't know. I don't know. And so yeah, that's just something that I think really makes the space toxic. Something else that you end up seeing a lot, and I guess disclaimer here, just to mention my bias. My bias is that I took like 3 years to type myself, maybe longer. And it's not like during those 3 years I was uncertain the whole time. No, like for like 1 or 2 of those years, I was so sure I was, you know, some other type. But one thing, I guess this isn't like another reason why they're toxic. This is just something that I want to mention. Something that happens a lot is people being like, you typed yourself incorrectly. Oh, drop the mic. Like that's the ultimate diss. Like, oh, what are you trying to type this other person for? You didn't even type yourself correctly. Oh, what? Like, I am not convinced that that is a very good criticism, because typing yourself is so fundamentally different from typing someone else. You are in your own head. You have all these ideas about yourself, all this baggage about, you know, your self-concept. You don't have that with anyone else. You're not inside anyone else's head. You don't have to deal with the first person perspective of existing as that person. And yeah, I don't know, when because I had a friend who like my friend who introduced me to typology. His typings were really good. Like I'd say he typed people correctly, just like typing them from the hip, 80% of the time correct. And that's not like, I know in like grading, oh, that's like a B minus. No, like 80%. I think that's really good. I think that's like 99th percentile, compared to like other people who try to type people from the hip. So I think he was really good at typing other people. But yeah, also I think he typed himself incorrectly. And that's not, I'm not dropping the mic about that. That's just, that's gonna happen. That's fine. That's fine. I don't care that he did that. I can still respect that a lot of his typings of other people were actually on point. Yeah, I just, it's such a ridiculous diss, I think. And people treat that like that's the ultimate comeback of like, oh, your own type is wrong. What you doing? No, that's fine. That's a different thing. Typing yourself is just fundamentally different. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching. Oh, wait. I wanted to mention before I ended the video, I wanted to mention, so I guess I kind of said, okay, here, typology communities are pretty toxic. What can you do about it? I think what you can do about it is one of two things. You can either manipulate the wanting to be correct side of things, and say what you will about that, or you can manipulate the identifying so hard side of things. So in the first case, if people aren't trying to be so correct, if people are just like, yeah, whatever, I have my way of thinking about things, you have yours, sure, that's fine. There's no skin in the game. You can talk and explore this thing, but if you're just like, I'm just going to defer to Sarkonova, okay, whatever. Then okay, people can still identify very strongly with these things, but then, right, no one's arguing that hard because they don't care that much about being correct in all cases. There are some servers like that. Not saying anything is wrong with that approach necessarily. That's the philosophy that some people take. And then on the other side of things, you can just say, okay, let's not get our identities wrapped up in this stuff. Like, yes, maybe you can find it useful and but okay, whatever. Let your ego go. Maybe this is the type that you thought you were is not really that type, and whatever. It doesn't have to involve your whole identity. So I guess manipulating one of those two forces, just sort of pulling back on that lever, can maybe make typology online less toxic. Is that going to happen? Probably not, right? I think probably insofar as these servers keep popping up, people are still going to get very attached to some certain way of identifying with a type. People are still going to try to be correct and dunk on others. That's just going to happen. I think you can try to pull back on one of those levers, but I don't know. Good luck. Typology is toxic.